If you don't act right now, December is going to destroy your plants. I am not exaggerating. In just a few days, the cold, the wind, sudden frost, and even short, weak sunlight can turn your thriving garden into a limp, lifeless mess. Leaves curl, stems droop, roots struggle silently under the soil, and months of hard work can vanish overnight. Most gardeners don't notice the warning signs until it's too late, and that's exactly why I'm making this video today. By the end, you'll know simple, practical, and inexpensive ways to not just save your plants, but help them thrive, even in the dead of winter. Welcome back to Urban Eden Garden, where we grow smart, not rich. I'm Sam, your friendly gardening guide, and I've spent years figuring out how to help plants survive harsh conditions without spending a fortune. And if you care about your plants as much as I do, you'll want to pay close attention, because December can be ruthless, but it also rewards preparation. Before we get started, I want you to do something for me. In the comments, type December ready if you're committed to keeping your plants alive and healthy this month. I want to see who's serious, because action beats hope any day, and your plants will only thrive if you're willing to do the small, deliberate steps that make a huge difference. Let's begin with why December is so tricky. Most people think, oh, it's cold, I'll just water less and bring plants inside. That's the usual advice, right? But it's incomplete. December doesn't just bring frost, it brings a perfect storm of stressors: fluctuating temperatures, dry indoor air, weak sunlight, harsh winds, and sudden changes in soil moisture. Each one alone isn't deadly, but together, they silently weaken your plants over time. I remember last December vividly. I had a row of tomato plants that were thriving indoors. I thought I was doing everything right: watered, placed near a sunny window, but overnight a cold draft hit, and by morning, 3 of them were drooping badly. The leaves curled, stems bent, and I realized I hadn't accounted for the combination of temperature swings and dry air. That experience taught me one thing: in December, every little factor counts, and ignoring even small issues can cost you entire plants. The first and simplest trick you need to master is watering. Watering in December is completely different than in spring or summer. Cold water hitting roots used to warmer soil can shock them. Drooping leaves, stunted growth, or even root rot can appear without warning. Here's the hack most people don't know. Fill a container with water and let it sit for 24 hours until it reaches room temperature. When you water with that, it's like giving your plants a warm cup of tea instead of an icy shock. Pour slowly, let it soak gradually, and your roots absorb it safely. Here's a real-life example. One year I was in a rush one cold December morning and watered my indoor basil straight from the tap. By the afternoon, the leaves were limp, almost like they had been fried. I panicked, but quickly switched to room temperature water and started slow soaking over several days. Within a week, the plant bounced back stronger than ever. The difference between cold tap water and warmed water might seem small, but it can be the difference between a plant surviving or slowly deteriorating. Next is wind protection. Most gardeners obsess with frost, but wind steals heat from your plants faster than the actual cold. A gust can curl leaves, weaken stems, and stress roots. I've had mornings where everything looked fine, then a sudden blast caused immediate drooping. You don't need fancy equipment. Look around your home. Laundry baskets, crates, cardboard, even stools can serve as mini windbreaks. Position them so the wind doesn't hit directly, but the light still reaches the plant. Cheap, simple, and incredibly effective. Here's an anecdote. One winter, a friend called me panicked. A sudden icy gust had hit her balcony garden. I suggested she use cardboard panels she already had lying around. She was skeptical, but did it anyway. By morning, the protected plants were fine, while the unprotected ones were wilted. This is the kind of hidden advantage that most gardeners overlook. It doesn't have to be expensive to work. Mulching is another secret weapon, but timing is critical. Most people think, I'll just mulch whenever. Wrong. Mulch traps warmth, but only if applied right before the coldest part of the night. Too early or during the day, and you trap cold instead. Leaves, straw, shredded newspaper, all work. Done correctly, mulching keeps roots warm, soil healthy, and drastically improves your plant's chances of survival. Let's talk about rotation instead of relocation. Everyone tells you to bring plants inside or move them by a sunny window. Sometimes necessary, yes, but sudden changes in latent humidity stress plants far more than cold alone. Instead, rotate your pots 90 degrees every few days. This ensures every side receives light evenly, keeps plants balanced, and prevents stress. One friend once moved her plants to a new window for more light, and within days they started leaning oddly and growing unevenly. Rotation is subtle, but it works. Soil health is crucial. Cold, compacted soil suffocates roots. A simple fix is aeration. Grab a chopstick, pencil, or similar tool and poke gentle holes around the edges of the pot. This improves water absorption, allows oxygen to reach roots, and keeps your plants healthy. When you skip this step on a set of small herbs, they wilted, while the ones I aerated thrived. It's a minor effort with a huge payoff. Light management is another factor most gardeners ignore. December days are short and sunlight weak. Think of light as a budget. You have to maximize what's available. Track how many hours each plant receives and move them to the brightest spots during peak sunlight hours. But don't overdo it. Sudden exposure can shock the plant. One trick I love is bouncing light. Use mirrors, foil, or white cardboard to reflect extra sunlight onto your plants. Even 30 minutes of reflected light per day can make leaves perkier and keep growth steady. Night watering is another silent killer. Cold soil combined with overnight moisture often leads to root rot. Water around midday, when the soil can slightly warm, giving roots a chance to absorb the water safely. Observation is key. Walk through your garden daily. Look for early signs of stress, curling leaves, unusual color, or drooping stems. Catching issues early allows quick fixes, like adjusting humidity, moving a plant away from drafts, or adding protection. Speaking of humidity, indoor heating dries the air, causing leaves to curl and stems to weaken. Simple fixes: group plants together, place a tray of water nearby, or mist lightly. This creates a microclimate that helps plants breathe easier. Insulation doesn't need to be fancy. Old towels, bubble wrap, or cardboard can protect pots from frost while allowing airflow. One December, I wrapped balcony plants in old towels during a surprise frost. They survived perfectly. The unwrapped ones wilted. Timing is everything. And one more trick many overlook: gentle winter pruning. Remove dead leaves, weak stems, and tidy the base. This directs energy to survival instead of damaged parts. Plants recover faster in spring and bloom stronger.
Even in winter, nutrient support matters. A slow release or diluted fertilizer strengthens roots and leaves without forcing growth. Plants gain reserves to fight stress and bounce back faster. Temperature consistency is critical. Avoid heaters, vents, or drafty windows. Sudden swings stress plants, weaken leaves, and damage roots. A stable environment equals a happy plant.
Now that you've got the basics down, let's go deeper. December doesn't just test your plants, it tests your patience and your observation skills. But here's the good news. The more prepared you are, the less stressful this month becomes, and the more likely your plants are to thrive. One of my favorite tricks is creative insulation. Most gardeners think insulation means fancy greenhouse covers or expensive plant blankets. Not true. You can use items you already have at home: old towels, bubble wrap, cardboard, cloth bags, even plastic bottles cut in half. These create a protective layer around pots or vulnerable plants. Wrap loosely to allow airflow, but block cold drafts. I remember one December when a sudden frost hit my balcony garden. I didn't have commercial plant covers on hand, but I grabbed old towels and wrapped my pots loosely. By morning, the plants inside were perfectly fine, leaves crisp and stems firm. The unprotected plants, just a few feet away, were wilted and sad. That moment made me realize the power of inexpensive, clever solutions. A simple towel, placed the right way, can make all the difference. Humidity management is another crucial element. Indoor heating in December can drop humidity to levels that stress plants. Leaves curl, stems weaken, soil dries faster than usual. One simple solution is grouping plants together. This creates a microclimate where the plants collectively hold moisture. Another approach is placing trays of water near your plants or misting lightly with a spray bottle. Even small increases in humidity make a noticeable difference. I've noticed that tropical plants in particular perk up immediately when you increase humidity in a dry room. Now let's tackle frost protection, because frost is sneaky. Even indoor plants near windows can be affected. Lightweight blankets, sheets, or even cardboard can be used to cover plants during cold nights, but remove them during the day so plants still get light. Timing is everything. One winter, I had a tiny indoor garden near a large window. A sudden frost crept in through a gap in the window frame overnight. I covered the plants loosely with old sheets, and by morning, no damage occurred. Meanwhile, another window with similar plants left uncovered showed curling leaves and stress. That moment made me realize the power of inexpensive, clever solutions. A simple towel, placed the right way, can make all the difference. Here's a tip few gardeners talk about: winter pruning. Not heavy pruning, but gentle trimming. Remove dead leaves, weak stems, and any damaged parts. Why? Because this allows your plants to direct their limited winter energy to survival instead of wasting it on parts that are already dying. I've seen gardeners leave their plants untouched, and in spring, they wonder why their recovery is slower. Those small, careful cuts in December mean a faster, healthier rebound when the days get longer. It's a subtle difference, but one that compounds into long-term plant health. Temperature consistency is another key factor. Plants hate extremes, and December can be a roller coaster of hot indoor air, cold drafts, and sudden frost. Keep plants in areas where temperatures are relatively stable. Avoid heaters, vents, and drafty windows. I learned this the hard way one year when I moved a few indoor pots close to a radiator to keep them warm. By morning, the leaves were scorched from sudden heat while roots were still chilled by cold soil. It's a tricky balance, but keeping the environment stable is worth it. Let's talk light again. Short, weak December days are brutal for plants. You don't need professional grow lights to give your plants extra energy. Reflective surfaces like mirrors, aluminum foil, or whiteboards positioned strategically can bounce sunlight onto leaves, giving plants a boost without additional energy cost. Combine this with rotation, turning pots a little every few days, and your plants will stay balanced, robust, and healthy. One friend of mine tried this trick on her struggling indoor herbs. Within a week, the leaves were perkier, stems stronger, and growth noticeably better. Here's a personal story that illustrates why these small details matter. One year, I left a group of small potted vegetables unprotected on my balcony. I thought, it's just a few nights of cold, they'll survive. Within a week, half of them were limp, some had blackened leaves, and I was heartbroken. That same year, I applied these exact insulation, watering, humidity, and rotation strategies to another set of plants. They came through December perfectly healthy. The lesson? Consistent, small actions make the difference between disaster and survival. Observation is ongoing and essential. Daily checks aren't optional, they're critical. Look for curling leaves, unusual coloring, soft stems, or even the way soil absorbs water. One day you might notice a leaf edge curling slightly and think, it's fine. But that's an early warning. Adjust humidity, move the plant, or provide light reflection, and you've prevented days of stress that could have accumulated into permanent damage. December is like being a detective in your own garden. Every little detail matters. Another tip I rarely see mentioned is using unconventional protectors. For instance, old cups or jars can cover tiny seedlings overnight, creating a mini greenhouse effect. I did this with my small pepper seedlings last year. I placed a few plastic cups over them during frost nights. By morning, the seedlings were untouched, while unprotected ones nearby were limp. These DIY micro-ecosystems are cheap, reusable, and incredibly effective. Let's not forget soil management. Cold, compacted soil is suffocating for roots. Regularly aerate the soil, even lightly, to allow oxygen penetration. If the soil tends to dry out fast, add organic matter like compost to help retain moisture and improve warmth. I've experimented with mixing small amounts of straw or shredded leaves into my potted soil, and it creates an insulating effect while keeping roots happy. Even your containers matter. Dark-colored pots absorb heat during the day, giving roots an extra temperature boost. Lighter pots reflect heat, which can be useful in areas prone to overheating from indoor sun. Adjusting container choice and placement may seem small, but it's another layer of December protection. Now imagine your garden in January. Leaves still firm and green, stems upright, soil healthy, and plants resilient despite the cold and short days. That's the payoff for taking action now. Each small step, watering correctly, protecting against wind, mulching, rotation, light management, humidity control, insulation, gentle pruning, and nutrient support adds up to an almost foolproof shield against December's harsh effects. I want to leave you with a challenge today. Don't just watch this video and hope for the best. Pick at least 3 strategies and implement them immediately. Set your water to warm, wrap a few vulnerable pots, adjust light with a reflective surface, or gently prune and tidy up your plants. Even one action today can prevent weeks of stress and potential damage. Before we finish, I need you to commit. Hit that like button if you're ready to save your garden this December. Comment below with December Survivor if you're taking action today. Your comments help me know you're serious, and they also help other gardeners learn. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Urban Eden Garden. We share simple, practical, and inexpensive gardening advice every week to help you grow smart, not rich. Remember, your plants rely entirely on your attention and care. December doesn't have to be a death sentence. Apply these tips, stay observant, and give your plants the protection they deserve. In just a few days, you'll see the difference. Stems upright, leaves green, soil happy, and a garden that feels alive even in the coldest month. The key is acting now, consistently, and intelligently. Don't wait another day. Your plants are counting on you.